Welcome back to Main Street Living. Guys, I love college sports. And if you're into college basketball, you're going to want to listen up.
Yeah, whether your jump shot is whack or it's good, right? I had to throw that in there for Danielle. Between the pandemic and the political climate in the country these days, we can all certainly appreciate the distraction that NCAA basketball brings us in a positive way. So here to talk things all college hoops, we have recruiter and sports analyst Adam Finkelstein. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Now, getting right into it, it looks like for now, the plans are to have the NCAA tournament in Indianapolis. Like, what does that mean for the tournament overall?
Well, that just became official, and that was kind of always what the world suspected because, the NCAA is based in Indianapolis. That's their home base. They have access to those facilities year round. So I think it was, just basically making official what most people already suspected. And essentially what it means is this will be an NCAA tournament unlike any other. You're not going to see different locations and different regions, just going to see everybody going to Indianapolis. And obviously the big concern is going to be that many people in one, bubble, for lack of a better word, because it's not going to be a true bubble. What happens if somebody tests positive? And those protocols are starting to come out now and seeing how that's going to work. But what we do know for sure is that everybody's going to Indianapolis. They've started to make public the facilities they will use in the city, the hotels that they're going to require people to stay at. And it's a pretty significant undertaking, but one that was really necessary because if you follow the business of college sports, the NCAA tournament had to happen this year.
Yeah, especially because it didn't last year.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and just the revenue that creates, not just for college basketball, but for all of college athletics, is just not it was just not going to be viable for that model to sustain itself, losing that revenue 2 years in a row.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm super excited. I love college basketball. I think it's going to be March Madness meets Hoosier hysteria. It's going to be just how great that it's already going to be in Indiana. Do you see this moving forward, though? You mentioned that it's not going to be a true bubble. What kind of things are you seeing could be potential concerns, or do you see this going forward without a hitch?
So, well, listen, in the days of COVID, I don't think anything goes forward without a hitch. So I think they have to build contingency plans within the operational blueprint. And what it sounds like right now is that all tier 1 personnel is going to have to test negative for 7 days prior to even coming into Indianapolis. And then they will have continuous testing once they are there. So it seems like the protocols are going to be very strict just to get in. So I think the hardest part from a testing standpoint will be to make sure you are good to enter the bubble, if you will. Again, it's not going to be a bubble like you saw with the NBA in Orlando, where everybody's completely contained in one space like they were at Disney. But this is just one city where access to other people will certainly be limited. So I think those details are starting to come out now with the testing protocol and the amount of fans they're going to let in. Right now, it sounds like it's going to be six family members per tier 1 person, which I believe is players and coaches. So it's going to be really, really limited. And they're going to try and pull this off. And I know if you're a fan of college athletics, if you've got family or friends who work in college athletics, you're really hoping this happens. And if you're just a fan of college basketball, as you said, we could all use some positive distractions. And I think we're still going to be enjoying the opportunity to watch the NCAA tournament come March and April.
Yeah. So with you being a recruiter, Adam, you know what this game means to these young kids out here. Like, how do you think college basketball has handled playing in the pandemic so far?
Quite frankly, I think it's gone better than I imagined it would because it's been so fluid. And, on one hand, you have all these games getting canceled and rescheduled. But on the other hand, they're pulling it off. And so that's been a lot of fun. And the thing you hear is that the kids are just so grateful to be playing that they are taking the precautions to make sure that they stay healthy. And ultimately, that's serving two goods then. Not only are you having a season, but it's giving these kids motivation to make good decisions off the floor, keep themselves healthy, and by extension, keeping their families healthy too. So from that standpoint, there's a lot to be happy about with what college basketball has been able to achieve so far this season.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and something else to be happy about, I heard you're going to be hosting a show that's going to lead up to all of this madness going on, Advance to Indianapolis. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this would be the third straight year we're doing it. Of course, last year's show got canceled, but it's been a lot of fun. We're able to preview the tournament every week. We preview the upcoming matchups. We review the results. When my bracket blows up, the entire country gets to laugh at me. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm thrilled that we're going to get the chance to do it again this year because, as I said, last year we all lost that opportunity.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we definitely have two exciting games that's coming up to be covered here on Your View. That's William and Mary versus Charleston. I believe that's on January the 23rd, and URI versus LaSalle's women's basketball on January the 29th. So
love it. Love to see the ladies hoops.
Starting to heat up there, Adam.
Absolutely, that's good basketball.
Well, Adam, hopefully we'll have you on the show again closer to all the madness beginning. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
All right, stick with us. Coming up, we're talking about a new home for art in Oklahoma. You don't want to miss it.